And as always, your views and comments are welcome on those handles. So join us on TV, on Facebook, and on Twitter. We'll be glad to share your thoughts with the rest of the world. Remember, the hashtag is The Pulse. Now, with some 8 days to go to Ghana's big day, the Electoral Commission says it's ready to successfully execute this year's elections. Head of Communications for the Commission, Eric Jakwasu, says its personnel and logistics are ready for the 7th December elections. In an interview with Joy News' Maxwell Agbagba, Mr. Jakwasu, amongst others, responded to questions about 6 ballot boxes falling off the EC's truck in the Western region, preparedness for special voting, and how the Commission will counter the dissemination of false results on social media, especially on WhatsApp.
The countdown started from 100. Now it is down to a single digit. The day of reckoning for political parties contesting in this year's election is near. But how prepared is the body mandated to execute this Herculean task?
The Electoral Commission is very, very much prepared because we have deployed all our logistics, the very essential ones, to the regions and onto the districts. We have finished with all the major field activities. As we speak, we are only training our officials, after which we will train the party agents, and we are ready for the election day.
Okay. To talk about the deployment of logistics, we heard about an incident in the Western region on the 16th of November, where some ballot boxes that will be transported into that region, reports suggest that they fell off a truck. 6 ballot boxes. How far has the Electoral Commission come in retrieving those boxes or ensuring that people do not, the ballot papers are not in the hands of wrong people who try to use it to cause mischief on election day?
Yeah, you see, you can't use those ballot boxes to cause any mischief on election day. Let me start from this before I even go to the basic side of the question. They are empty ballot boxes. At best, they are just receptacles for anything, water, paper, okay, anything you want to put inside. At this point, we classify such a material as a non-sensitive election material, okay? But you see, when you are deploying logistics, materials across the length and breadth of this country within a period of time for the purpose of elections, a lot of irregularities can occur, okay? When such irregularities occur, the basic question we ask ourselves is that, how did this thing happen? Could it be performance lapses? Could it be genuine mistakes? Could it be due to unforeseen circumstances? Or are they doing? When we establish this, the next question we ask ourselves is that, what is the impact of this development on the elections? Okay, so we are talking about deployment of logistics. These materials were at the regional office. Then they were loaded onto the pickup truck. They were going to Takwa in Swayam in the night. At dawn, in the afternoon, at all the times, these things are moving because everything is what? Time-bound. So you reach your destination, or on the way, you realize that maybe the things were not tied too well, or they were tied, but somewhere along the line, the ropes, got slack somewhere along the line, and some of these items could fall. Okay. Yes. Now, when they fall, procedure requires that immediately you report to the police, you present a situation report, then you go on the ground, inform the local communities and then the local FM stations that anybody who comes across these materials, it at the nearest police station or bring it to the Electoral Commission. So they are non-sensitive materials. All that you do is that you replace them as you them before the time, you replace them, and they are ready for elections.
Well, you classify them as non-sensitive electoral materials, but would you say that the political parties who are making a case out of it, would you say they are making a fuss out of this? Because a lot of them are complaining actually about the situation of the 6 missing ballot boxes.
Yeah, we are talking about elections. We see complaint, yes, there will be. But how it impacts the election are questions that we need to ask. Okay. Are you getting me? An empty ballot box, has fallen off a track somewhere. We can't find it. So what happens? Come the night before the elections, okay, you get replacement ballot boxes. We are all at the collation center. We fill them with the essential materials. At the point that we have all these materials in the box, it becomes a very sensitive, critical material. Then you send it to the polling station, you vote, and you come back and count your ballot. I hear arguments, or I hear people saying that somebody could take this box, stuff them, and then go to the polling station. I'm here to see such a development in our elections.
On election day itself, come the 7th of December, school would be in session for a lot of schools because, for now, we know it's not going to be a holiday. The Ghana Education Service released a statement saying, admonishing its students and teachers to be present at their schools on election day. We know a lot of the polling centers that we have are actually on the compound of these institutions. What is the Electoral Commission going to do not to disrupt its own electoral process and also not to disrupt the academic, teaching that will be going on in the schools?
We've always voted on school campuses. It was only in, I think, 2012 that we voted on Sundays. All our elections have been on weekdays, mostly on Tuesdays, and on school campuses. The polling centers are condoned off. Okay, you demarcate them with a demarcation tape. School activities go on. Teachers are released to come and man the polling station and then work. So it's nothing new. We've always handled it like that. That's why I'm saying that from 1992, it has been only once that we voted on a Sunday. Otherwise, all the elections have been on, school days. Nothing new. It's not going to jeopardize the electoral process. Neither is it going to affect schoolwork, provided the two parties are committed in delivering on their mandate.
Now, again, we hear that media accreditations are ready, but you've faced a lot of backlash when you mentioned that you're going to charge media accreditation fees. Recently, at another engagement, you were criticized severely by one of Ghana's top journalists. What have you done? Are you still sticking to your gun, saying we're still going to charge
the simple fact of the matter is that nobody is charging media for covering the election. It is about accreditation, okay? It is about a tag which will give access to the media to get access, just like any other observer who is coming to observe the election. You need to be tagged. And we're saying that there are no, okay? Because we could not even predetermine the number of media guys who would be going out to observe the elections. Okay, looking at the number of the journalists we have in this country, and we're also adding foreign media. So you could not even predetermine, okay, the number of people that you are talking about.
So are you charging the various observer groups also accreditation?
Observer groups are also paying for accreditation, not only the media. All the observer groups, local and international, they are paying for accreditation.
On the issue of special voting, which is on 1st December, how prepared is the Electoral Commission to execute that one?
We are very prepared. We are very prepared. All that we need is 1st December. God willing, we'll go and vote. Everything is set. All the materials for special voting, officials who would execute the job on 1st December. Everybody has been trained. We're all waiting for Thursday morning to come. Materials have been mobilized to all the various centers.
Well, some special voters are complaining that as of now they do not know where they will be casting their ballot.
Good. The point is that you are submitted your name as a special voter. You know where you vote in normal times. You know where your constituency is. Okay? So if you know you are voting in your constituency, go to the district office of the commission there and check your name.
Okay.
Okay. So where you are registered and where you submitted your name, you submitted your name with your ID card and then your polling station code. And your polling station is in a constituency. And that constituency has a district office. So you go to the office and check where your name is. Then you go and vote on Thursday.
Okay. The addition of some names, some special voters by the police, generated a lot of controversy, with some people raising arguments that for the CI 94, it states clearly that you're supposed to receive a list of special voters within a certain period of time. And as at the time that you were taking the names from the police, that period had elapsed.
My brother, it is not only even taking names from the police. There are some category of people who must be on the special voting list. Yeah. Media, election officials, and security. Media to observe and cover the election, election officials to be at the polling stations to work. Then the security to provide security for the elections. I hope you are getting me. So what we are saying is that a list has been submitted, names have been submitted. Then Electoral Commission, we have done the recruitment and selection of our officials. You know, this time the qualification base of all these officials has been what? Increased. So you may not have the caliber of people you need in some communities to execute a job. So at the end of the day, you are sending people to some polling stations outside where they registered to go and work. So when we finalized the list and then posted the people to their various constituencies and polling stations, it came to light that there were some of these critical staff whose names were not on the special voter list. So if you deploy them to go and work on election day, they may have to abandon their posts to go and vote. Then also security. With over 5,000 flashpoints, okay, it's become necessary to increase the number of security at some of the polling stations. After the entries, we realized that security, the number of the security had fallen short of the required number. Okay, so there was a need to accommodate the extra names of election officials and the security.
There's been a lot of talk about social media and how it should be controlled, especially on election day. We've seen the Electoral Commission do a good work, doing some good work with regards to Facebook and disseminating information with Facebook and trying to dispel all the rumors using Facebook. Now, in the 2012 elections, we didn't have that experience of WhatsApp and how fast people disseminate information with WhatsApp. You'd agree with me that when results start trickling in, some people would try to, forge results and try to circulate them on social media. How is the communications unit of the Electoral Commission going to tell those false results that will be declared on social media, WhatsApp? Yeah,
the point is, we are active on social media as well. Yeah. That is why when you see some of these allegations come, quickly we do what? We counter them to the point that some have even retracted some of them. Yeah. A lot of false allegations and false news have been debunked on social media. You see, but the point we are making, and that's why we're even appealing to mainstream media, is that it is only the Electoral Commission declaring results. We'll be out there fighting them anyway. It's like a war. It's a turbulent terrain, social media, with these election matters. But the point is that results are declared by the Electoral Commission. So we're appealing to everybody that no matter what you read on social media,
you need a media to also give out the provisional results.
We are not against it. We are for it. But our appeal has been that don't jump the gun. Allow Electoral Commission to do the final declaration. Then media can pick it up and do the analysis.
Yes, the provisional results we're talking about here, some unscrupulous people will be cooking provisional results on social media and trying to disseminate those ones.
When those ones come and we quickly will counter it, I'll get to me. You and I know the way social media works.
So how would you counter? I think maybe the most effective way to do it would be through your website. But maybe you would also be waiting to declare the certified results on your website. And you know that this is a competition about time. If the moment you delay,
we delay what? You know, there's no law which tells us when to declare results because of the processes involved. Okay? So when you read our legislation, no law tells us when to declare results, because it's a painstaking procedure. You must go through, get it right before you come out to do what? To declare. Okay? But we are conscious of the time. Yeah. Okay? So what I was saying is that let's take the results from the Electoral Commission. Okay. We will dispel the rumors on social media. Yeah. But you can't stop people from believing what they believe. We have dispelled rumors. Rumors have been debunked. But today, people will still ask you questions. How about those fake ballot papers that were intercepted in the office of a political party in Laura? Whilst today, that rumor has been dispelled. Nothing of the sort happened. But people believe what they want to believe. But the important thing is that those who matter, the voice of the people, okay, the channel through which people listen, should just verify the information from the body mandated to declare results. Then we can continue with the analysis.
Attorney matter that when it comes to declaration of results from elections in every election year. We'll see how that plays out in the coming days. But as for the Electoral Commission and their preparedness for the special voting on December 1 and also the presidential and parliamentary elections come December 7. Well, on election day also, some people will be traveling from various parts of the countries to go cast their ballots in their regions. But how prepared are those who will facilitate their movement, and what about the electorates themselves? Maxwell, again, has been finding out.
The transportation industry has played a critical role in the conduct of Ghana's election. On election day next week, it will be expected to transport people from one constituency to the other. With some few days to Ghana's polls, we hear that requests have already been put in by some political parties to have buses hired to transport their people to various regions. Nana Ama Asafo-Boakye is the head of public affairs here at Intercity STC Coaches Limited. She tells us they are ready for the elections.
We have a request from some political parties and various groupings. They want to hire the buses. Well, it's a service that we are providing. So once someone is able to meet our hiring requirements, that is how much you are supposed to pay, and we will just give out the buses. Because after all, we are working for money, isn't it? Yes, ahead. So if people want to hire the buses, we will readily give it out. And we've had a lot of requests coming in from the political parties and then various groupings and a lot of people. And then we have instructions. We don't want them to entangle our buses in various, you understand. So once you are going, we have our instructions on what should be done and all those things. So once you meet the requirements and you're able to pay your money, why not? We give you the buses.
For JM Tuaso or Nana Baba and all the electioneering slogans that we've had this year, it is dependent on the Ghanaian electorate. But how prepared are they to exercise their franchise in the much talked about elections?
I am 100% prepared to cast my vote. Whether raining or shining, I'll definitely go. I am staying in the Western region, a town called Wasa Asikuma in the Amenfi East. But I've registered in Eastern region, the regional capital, Koforidua. So definitely I'll go there to cast my vote.
So you'll be going all the way to the Eastern region just to cast the ballot?
Yes, just to cast my ballot.
Now, we know that on that day, we are not too certain whether it's going to be a holiday, but for now, it is not a holiday. Have you sought permission from the employers?
Yeah, the system is such that I can travel and come back without any problem.
That day, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not cooking. I and my family are very prepared for the election, and we are going to vote for Akufo-Addo because we want a change.
Well, I prepare for the D-Day. I prepare because I'm voting in Adenta constituency. I was in Adenta, but now I'm living in Accra here. So I'm preparing that the very day, the D-Day, I'll be going to Adenta to cast my vote.
So on election day, would you be working, or after voting you just go home?
Okay, well, after voting I'll go and relax a little bit, and evening time, so I will prepare and listen to the figures coming out.
I'll put the special preparation. Anyone I go in with man, brain train me to do, then I can do for him.
So on election day, would you be traveling to the northern region to go and vote, or your vote is already here?
To northern region to vote.
You're traveling to where?
For north.
Okay.
To vote, yeah.
So on election day, you not come to work?
No, I will not come to work.
So depending on where you stand, the dynamics are playing out where you live and where your votes are, but it will be very interesting on December 7 how people will move from where they live to where they can go and cast their ballots in deciding whether it will be in what's been christened on the grounds on social media. Will it be for John Mahama or Nana Akufo-Addo or the other candidates, Dr. Papa Kwesi Ndom or the Progressive People's Party? Shortly, we'll hop onto the campaign trail and find out what is happening. With 8 days to go to the elections, what kind of messages are we hearing from the candidates to convince you to vote for them come December 7? But let's quickly do some local politics, because it's becoming a very interesting scenario in the parliamentary elections. A Ghanaian resident in the United States of America is back home to contest the parliamentary election in the Esujaman constituency in the Eastern region, but comes up against a local, a man who has a roots in who's keen on winning that seat. Latif Idris was in the constituency for our Battleground show and reports that unemployment, you guessed right, is a big problem in the area that could determine who wins this election.
It's a Sunday morning here in Atimpoku, the district capital of the Sojaman district, and people here are going about their normal business.